The month of October is known as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and while that month has come and gone, domestic violence continues every day across the nation and here at home in Texas. Our McKaylin Johnson sits down with two survivors from the Concho Valley today. We hear the first of those two, who asked to be kept anonymous, and how writing took them from feeling like a victim to a survivor.
The first story that I ever wrote about it was very vague. It still had some detail, but it was still very vague, nothing very telling.
From vagueness to writing blogs titled with her abuser's name, the woman I sat down with says that first pen to paper moment filled her with relief.
I've been holding on to this for, a decade or so, and that first time that I wrote that, it was like, it's hard to even describe, like a weight just lifted off of my shoulders.
Her story with domestic violence began when she was relatively young, late teens, just graduated high school, in hopes of getting out into the world. Her relationship not taking a turn until they were soon married.
So was it an abrupt change from wherever that started, or it was kind of a gradual thing? It was like things were good and then that controlling kind of set in.
It started with control, who she saw, what she did, and what she said. That grew into hitting things and then eventually hitting her. The first time still so vivid.
We were screaming back and forth, and he all of a sudden knocked me to the ground. He ended up punching my ankle, which just swelled up like crazy. So that was like the first, serious injury.
She digs deeper into the physical abuse she endured in her open letter to her abuser. She writes about the bones in her hand shattering and a car door he smashed, being thrown over furniture, and his boots that stomped on her and kicked her ribs. Before sitting down with the survivor and getting her personal account, I read her blog. Words jumping out at me from the beginning read, "I knew you were hoping that you still had the power to silence me." That word silence, so significant in domestic violence.
People on the outside looking in might be like, well, why didn't they talk? Why didn't they just leave? Things like that. It might seem so easy to someone looking outside, but from someone inside, it's totally different.
He tried to convince me that nobody would believe me and that nobody cares. Looking back on it, it was a little less fear and a lot more just being brainwashed, just being told something over and over again until you just start to believe it.
According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, leaving an abuser is the most dangerous time for a victim of domestic violence. On top of a handful of societal barriers and the fear their abuser creates. For the woman I spoke with, it was brainwashing. But how did she make it out? Her then husband, surprisingly, leaving without her.
I just remember feeling the relief that he was gone, because I had not been out of his sight in almost 2 years.
Being free from her abuser for a moment reintroduced the person she once knew, and she realized it was time to get out.
Within those few days, having that freedom, it was like I became a person again. Like I realized who I was before him and realized that I am not happy.
But leaving wasn't easy.
I told him straight up that I was not happy and that I wanted a divorce, and of course that became a fight like I knew it would. It did become physical, and I did call the police. They did come out to the house and let me load up my stuff. I loaded up everything that I could fit in my car at the time, and I left at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I never went back.
And now, over a decade has passed, and her life after abuse has been one of gaining back her voice. She's also switched her mindset from victim to survivor.
How did that mentality come about?
Sitting down and writing that letter and finally addressing him by name. I didn't even plan for it to go there, but it was like, being a writer, I guess, it's just what came out of me, and I recognized that for 13 years now, I had considered myself a victim, but I'm not his victim. Definitely not anymore.
In When reliving her experiences with abuse, she asks for people to simply be human. If you suspect something, speak up. And while she recognizes that every domestic violence experience is different in some ways, her urge to those in a physical, emotional, or mentally abusive relationship is find your way out.
If you see those signs, just do something. Find a way.
For those of you in the Concho Valley who know someone in this situation or is the person looking for a way out, options include New Bridge Family Shelter, Open Arms, and law enforcement. Or visit the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence website, click Get Help, and find what options work best for you.